I'm so excited, I forgot the thing. Nah, man, y'all know what it is, man. Welcome to More Than a Title. Y'all can tell I'm in a great mood, man. I'm in a great mood. This is going to be a great conversation. It's the end of the year. We're finishing strong. Episode 253, our 82nd episode of 2025. I'm your host, as usual, Jarrett, Chief Revenue Officer at Outside the Box Digital. And, of course, I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO, Chadeo. What's good, baby?
It's been building.
Yeah.
Been rough. Ladies and gentlemen, it's one of those days, you heard? But listen, you already know what it is. It's Thursday, our second favorite day of the week, hard day. And listen, I'm not going to forget. I'm going to start with this. We have another phenomenal guest. I'm going to say the word phenomenal now so that I don't forget to say it later. We already been talking in the green room. This guest he's ready to drop a lot of gems, a lot of knowledge on you guys. Get ready to hit that like button. Get ready to download. Get ready to subscribe. You're not going to want to miss this interview. You know how we like to start every show. G&T, grateful and thankful. I just want to send out this G&T to our support team.
Absolutely.
We talk about support from our guests all the time. What does it look like from our guests, their support team, significant others, the people that help raise them? Let's talk about what support looks like for us. When we're having bad days, we have people that we can lean on. It's not a lot, but we're grateful for the ones that we do have, that we can call, that we can text, and we can vent to, and we can bounce ideas off of, that can give us motivation and help us stay full, right? So that we can continue to bring you this type of content with the energy and the attitude and the smiles that we bring you twice a week. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, G&T, grateful and thankful to our support system. You guys keep us afloat. You guys give us the energy and the motivation to keep going. Listen, 185 episodes already in 2 years. So you understand what I'm saying? It's a lot of support. You know, a lot of support. Thank God free nights and weekends is out and we get unlimited minutes now, because boy, that phone bill would be crazy.
Well, let's get it, bro. Let's get it, baby. I'm excited, man. Let's get to it and do it.
Let's start the show.
Get into it and do it. First of all, this brother's a legend. Before we give him the proper intro, I just want to give people the context. So this year was our first year going to Cannes. 2025 we're in Inkwell Beach. One of the people that I wanted to meet was this brother right here. And met the brother, man. And when I say he kept it real with us, man, he gave us his contact, he gave us gems. He was everything that you would want the OGs to be in our industry, in our culture. You know what I'm saying? So we got him here today. It's a pleasure and an honor. If it's your first time here, welcome to More Than a Title. This is the Real Raw podcast where we go beyond the job description and get into the real journey and the mindset of what it takes to be successful. So our guest today never planned on being a CEO. He's a creative who mastered the business, a storyteller who understands how to move culture and deliver results. This brother's career is proof that more powerful paths aren't always linear. From leading agencies to Adweek and Ad Age honors, Fast Company's most innovative companies list, and creating award-winning work for brands like UPS, GEICO, DoorDash, OREO. This brother's consistently operated at the intersection of creativity and leadership. He's also an award-winning writer behind Lil Ruby, Riding Hood, an NAACP Image Award-winning animated film, and part one of the most iconic brand moments ever, the Oprah's car giveaway. You feel me? It's crazy. Hampton grad, Atlanta University grad, former DJ, stand-up comic, once named one of the funniest men in advertising, and the current CEO of the Martin Agency, one of the most decorated agencies, a part of the Omnicom conglomerate. Let's introduce our brother, Danny Robinson, the OG, the legend, y'all.
What's up?
Danny,
that's too much.
Before you say anything,
Yeah, man.
Thank God you own your own agency, because that resume is 4 pages long.
Yo,
you got a 4-page resume, Danny. Like,
I had to condense it.
How do you fucking pick and choose what to put on a resume at this point in time with that many accomplishments? Thank God. You're applying for a job right now.
Oh yeah, I'm done with that.
Would be nuts.
but Danny, man, it's an
welcome
honor
to the show,
brother.
man. Welcome to the show.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Yes, sir, brother.
Thank
So I would like to start, brother. Let's start from the beginning, because we want the people to really get to know who you are as a person, the mindset, what it takes. So talk about the early days, man. What was like growing up, man? Some early influences.
Woo. Growing up, how far back? I grew up on a campus of Hampton, now Hampton University, Hampton Institute when I was there. My parents were a professor. My father was a professor. My mother was a teacher. I grew up on the campus. I spent my first 18, well, I went to Hampton too. So the first 22 years of my life surrounded by Black excellence, surrounded by, I say there are always 18 to 22-year-olds in my life, in my entire life. I only saw the formative years growing up. So I had the opportunity. I tell people I lived on a Black island pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, Hampton's a peninsula. You got water on three sides. I was in the middle in the 60s during Black protests on campus, in the 70s with bell bottoms, in the 80s. I decided I wasn't going to go to Hampton because, you know, you grow up someplace, you want to not go to the thing you grew up on. But when I got to 15 years old, I'm like, why would I not go to Hampton? I'm right here. Here.
Oh, that shift your whole thing.
Yes.
The ratio was women to men was 11 to 1 when I was there. I said, why would I not go to Hampton? So I went to Hampton. Best decision I could imagine making.
Message.
Yeah, I had some surroundings that I grew up differently than a lot of people. I mean, I had some advantages. I grew up believing I could do anything because I saw Black people every day doing amazing things.
I got a question though. When, in your early stages, we always talk about explaining an environment to somebody that doesn't truly understand what their environment is because that's all they're used to, right? So we use the analogy like, how do you explain to a fish water?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you're growing up in this environment around this Black empowerment, you see the movement going on, you see what people are doing, you're thinking like, okay, this is what our people are doing in the moment. This is what everybody's doing. But when you leave campus or you leave that area and you see people are doing things differently, how did you process the differences in that between being on campus and being in that type of an environment, then kind of stepping away from that and visiting other places and realizing like, oh, this is a movement. This is not an everyday thing and how everyday people are living.
Yeah, I think what happened was when I walked out of that, whenever I stepped out of that, I just knew and believed, and maybe naively so sometimes, that I was as good as anybody because I saw people who I believe were the cream of the crop. So stepping out was just me being confident. It wasn't an adjustment needed. It wasn't oh, this is not the real world. Because to me it was. It just looked different than the rest of the world. And I growing up in Hampton, stepping out of the campus wasn't like I stepped into Iowa. It was still a lot of Blackness outside that campus.
Right.
So it was, you know, it took me a long time to even reflect and think about, so what was it about that experience that helped mold me other than the experience itself, and why was it? I think I realized after a while that it was just what I saw was what I believed I could be, and that anything else that could impact me wasn't going to affect me because it was deep seated. It was the really held belief that, you know, I talk about my parents having parties during the week, and back then, man, they would just have Wednesday night, 5-6 couples come over and drink and smoke and listen to music and talk and woof, as they call it. And those were all Black lawyers, Black dentists, Black doctors in my household. So as far as I'm concerned, that was what actually real life looked like. And anything different was something not real.
Right.
And so I think it allowed me to adapt just really easily, that I was just really clear who I was and in my own skin, what I stood for, what I could be, what I could achieve. And nobody could take that away from me by the time I actually walked out of the campus as a man.
Well, I'm curious. What's the best piece of game, whether from your parents or somebody that was in your circumference at that time? What's the best game they gave you to help shape your mindset? Like, what's one thing that you hold to today?
I think that it's interesting. My father had a PhD in philosophy, which makes it for interesting conversations. He would never actually give me advice. He'd just say stuff. He would never tell me. He would never tell me what he wanted me to do or what he thought I should do. He would just say things, and often he was quoting Plato and Aristotle, and there isn't a thing. It was just being around those conversations and hearing people talk, and being 6 years old, hearing adults have conversations, and nobody ever said one thing to me. It was the combined conversations. It was really modeling. It was seeing what it looked like and being that thing, right? And my father was a man of few words, and he never sat down and had these deep conversations with me, and I never really felt that I needed them either. I understood. From what I saw, what he
understood the message and the movements.
What I saw from his friends, what's expected and what expected of their kids, and unspoken language. And growing up on a campus, there isn't even any question whether education was a thing that had to be a part of your life. And it wasn't. It was expected that you were going to read at the highest level and do math at the highest level. It was that all that stuff was expected. So it wasn't. Nobody said you had to do it. You saw it and you believed it and you understood it. And it was, it's like growing up being a fish. And a fish doesn't look around and wonder if he's in water, he's in water. And he doesn't ask, how do I swim? You just learn to swim. So
understand the body of water you're in.
Yeah, so it was that thing just all came naturally. And, of course you have to work to sustain it.
Yeah,
and to get better, but there's a lot to be said for the roots.
That's real.
But we talk about that. The reason we bring that up, Danny, is because we talk about the cheat code a lot. Mm-hmm. We reference this cheat code.
Yeah.
When you're growing up in an environment like Cuzzo said, the body of water. So let's say we're all in water. You in the Atlantic, we in the Mediterranean. You understand that we're in a completely different. You in the Atlantic, in the Atlantic.
We in the Bronx River.
We in Orchard Beach water.
We in the Bronx River.
We in Orchard Beach water, Bronx River. The water ain't even the same color.
Correct.
I want to be clear, right? You in tropical water where you can look through the water and see the coral reef on the ground.
Yeah.
We in
and you can't see
water.
2 inches in front of you, right?
You can't see nothing.
Right. You can,
not that.
And if you swim in our water, you might hit a tire or some plastics that hold the cans together. That's what we talk about, right? Yeah. It's understanding. See, in the urban communities, a lot of the times first of all, everybody's a product of their environment. And that's the reason we ask that question. Because when a lot of us grow up and we get acclimated to understanding what our body of water is. So the same way that you are comfortable with understanding higher education is mandatory. What do you mean? Of course I'm going to college. It's just, what college am I going to? I'm going to you understood what an HBCU was. In our communities, most people don't even know what an HBCU is. Do you understand?
Right. Closest one is Lincoln.
Right. You understand? They don't even understand. And going to college in a lot of our communities is not an option. Listen, be grateful to graduate high school.
I understood.
Right. You know what I mean? So that's why we bring that up, because the decisions that our parents make have a major impact on a child's life without you even realizing what the impact is. Because you grew up in a different body of water, you acclimated quickly to that, and look at what you are today. Not to say that people from our community can't, change their bodies of water, sure. but the pathways, it's more difficult because you don't have the information, you don't have the knowledge, you don't even know that there's another body of water out there that exists. Correct. Until you get to a certain point. Very important for us to bring that up, because it helped mold you into understanding very early work ethic, education. This is what success looks like. And of course, children mimic more so what they see than listen to what they're told. That's why your father didn't have to tell you so much.
The message and the movements, right?
Yeah.
Was expected.
Look, I'm not. Yeah. I was lucky that I was born in the gene pool.
Yeah.
And in the place and in the time. And my parents were I know I was lucky. My parents were older and settled. My father was 50. My mother was 35 when they had me. They were in a part of their life where there was not a lot of turmoil, not a lot of change. They had settled. I know all of that is all that's luck. I didn't get to pick any of that. So I know a lot of what has got me here has a lot to do with luck and timing. I tell people, never underestimate the power of luck and timing, man. I mean, my path beyond that was about a lot of luck and a lot of timing. In the right place at the right time.
Hey,
what was the I gotta
hold on, wait. I don't want to shoot past that. Pops being 50 and mom's being 35. Shout out to OG Pops, because he's like, you know what I'm saying? Because I need a tenderoni.
Yes.
I'm not mad at you, Pops. 35 and 50 is, I ain't mad at you.
That's right. So I know all of that had a lot to do with where I am, who I am.
Yeah,
and people can't make that decision.
Right. That's a fact. That's a fact.
There you go. So you was talking about luck and timing.
Yep.
What's one of the luckiest moments you feel you've had in your life? I'm just curious. What's one of the luckiest? You was like, God, I was here at the right place, right time.
Look, I was fortunate enough to start an ad agency, 1999 to 2000, Vigilante.
Yeah.
Which was I'm still sure of probably 5 or 10 years ahead of its time. Just we could have come along 10 years later and probably been a much bigger agency that's still open. But that was absolute luck. That was a phone call I got, somebody to do a freelance project for Leo Burnett for an ad agency, that the project happened to be really important to the chief creative officer and president of the agency, who saw what we did as freelance and asked, do we want to start an agency? I mean, that doesn't happen. Right. Nobody asks you, nobody hands you the opportunity to start your own ad agency and to bankroll it. That was pure luck. But the reason I got a call is because I had a relationship with some people before, because I did some work that was good. So I also say part of my career path was to make sure no matter where I landed and what I did, I was going to make sure people remembered me.
Message.
And that means I had to do something that they couldn't forget, or be the kind of partner that they wanted to partner with again. Never burn a bridge. You know, just assume that whoever you're working with has the ability to take you to the next level, because maybe they can. They might not be able to, but I'm not gonna assume that the person I'm working with can't pull me up, even if maybe they're 10 years younger and are 10 years behind in my career. I don't know what people's trajectories are going to be. I don't know where somebody's going to be in the next 5, 10 years. So it was being ready when called, and then overperforming when called. So that was that absolute luck. That may never have happened, because he could have called a lot of other people.
Anybody.
Did you just hear my phone ring? They was calling again. Danny already has a goddamn job. The answer is no. You that call, you didn't hear my phone ring. Danny has a job.
You just heard what Danny said. You better pick up.
I want another call. I'm done with the phone.
I got a question for you though, Danny. So being around all of this success and soaking up all of this success, what was your first love? Did you not want to be a doctor or a lawyer? Because, you know, children normally mimic what they see. What was your first love or first career idea path that you had when you were younger? Yeah. What was that like?
I was my first path is going to be my last. Okay. I was going to be an artist. I'm a painter.
Okay.
And I was going to go to school. I went to school for art. I was going to be a painter. That was my passion in elementary school. Okay. I got high school. I had a black teacher who became a mentor, and other than my parents, the most influential person in my life. Just changed my thinking about what's possible. So I was going to be a painter. Then I realized painters don't make any money unless they're successful, and that the chances of being successful are slimmer as being an artist and being a teacher. So I said, okay, maybe I'll teach art. So I went to school ultimately to teach art, because like you said, I saw what I saw growing up with teachers. I respected them, loved what my father did, seemed to get joy out of it. Realized I wasn't going to be a good teacher. That was not my job.
Okay.
So I took a different path and ended up going into marketing. But that's the thing I wanted to be. And when I'm done with this, that's the thing I'm going to be. I'm gonna take that first dream.
But what was the moment that led you into marketing? Because we always have the conversation with a lot of us, especially from our community, that are creatives and then go into marketing. And I always say the best marketers are usually creatives.
Yeah,
I
did the other way. I thought I took a class in my senior year in college, and it was an advertising class, and then I took a marketing class. I said, well, maybe this is a way to take what I like about being an artist and monetize it, right? So creativity at the core of it. What I didn't understand was marketing and advertising are not the same thing. I didn't know that clearly then. I got an MBA and thought I can use my creativity as a marketer, which you can, except I forgot you also have to know finance well.
Yeah.
Which I don't. Although I got an MBA and I did fine in class, but when I got to the job, I'm like, I don't like this at all. This is the creative side of an entry-level marketer is that much of your time, and everything else is business plans and finance and
spreadsheets.
I don't. Yeah. Not only do I not like it, I am not good at it. So I got fired, which was the best thing that could have happened because the next. Yeah, that was okay because they were right. That was not my destiny. What they did say though was, you're not good at this, but when the ad agency comes in and you're in the room and you're having a conversation with them, you're real good at that. So maybe you need to look at advertising. So I had a boss who fired me and then also got me my first interview at an ad agency. So
I don't like that.
It was fine. It was fine. I thank her all the time.
Well, listen, I want to say something to you. I don't know if you can see Jarrett's background. Jarrett has a painting right behind him. There it is.
Yep.
I got some painting, so I'm gonna say it right here on the show.
That's not mine.
No. I'm just telling you. I was going to say, listen, I'll take a Danny Robinson original now. Listen, now we love art. You know what I mean? So one of your first couple pieces, if you want to sign it,
they're right now. There's a long line right now.
You trying to shoot a shot from half court.
Listen, don't get fed. You got to ask. You got to ask.
You step in the tunnel.
The request is fine, but I've said no for the last 15 years. I don't sell anything. I'm building up demand because I knew I was gonna.
Listen, because of
NFT,
we got Danny. We got to get you at the ground level, right?
Like artists, that's like $1. I'm trying.
We got to get you at $1 because you might not be able to afford the $10,000 piece.
I'm hoping you can't.
We
can talk. We can talk.
You know, what was your? We talk about people's mindsets. Yeah. When they lose an opportunity. So let's talk about getting fired. A lot of times when somebody gets fired, it crushes them. It makes them feel like they weren't smart enough or they were inadequate to perform the job. But really, like and I'm glad you said that, is your talents might have just been better used elsewhere, right? I understand that you came from, success and things of that nature, but can you just walk us through what you felt in the moment of when you lost the job? How did it make you feel, like that instant reaction? And then what did you feel like before she got you the next role? What did you feel like your trajectory would have been going forward once you lost that first opportunity?
Well, I think like anybody, even if you know you're not right for a job, when you hear the words, you go numb. Yeah. Numb. Even if you know you absolutely have been hiding and you don't belong there. When you hear somebody say, I'm gonna have to let you go, it's the same reaction. You go blank for a minute and you don't hear anything for a minute. And it was the same for me. I just married, either engaged or just married, just had a condo, all that stuff goes through your head. What am I gonna do? Right. But what's real is, I never forget, she was crying when she told me. I think because she cared about me, because she, I worked hard. I just wasn't good. So all that stuff goes through your head, right? All the things that come with having a job just goes away, and you start worrying about all the things that a job affords you. But what's real is it didn't take me but a few minutes once I got past that to realize, yeah, I mean, I would fire me. That was the right decision. I'm not the right person for this job.
Right.
And then it was just, so the questions in that, but now what? And it didn't take me long. I just went to work. I started making a portfolio. I just sat down, and because I could draw, and I decided I was going to be a writer. I just started putting together a book of spec ads. Back then, that's what you did. You no computer.
You went there with the art book with the
hand draw. Yes.
Oh, that's what you did?
Yes, that's all there was. It was
damn, huh?
A literal portfolio bag with a handle and a zipper and plastic sleeves with hand-drawn, handwritten ads in it. And I just got to work making those. And said, okay, I got to get the next job. This may not do it, but this is, at least while I'm doing this, I feel like, well, I think I'm good. At least I like this. You know, I'm having a good time doing it. Maybe I'm good at it. So I just got to work, and luckily had a supportive, I think, fiance or wife at that time, who just made me believe that I could do that thing. She was, there for me, man. Can't do this. Can't do any of this by yourself.
Thank God it was back then.
Yeah.
Nowadays, these women is like, you lost your job? I'm out of here. You can't pay
these. Where's your drop for that?
Hate it.
I'm telling you, right? You see, timing, Danny. Nowadays, you lose your job with a spouse, you might lose your wife.
Man, I don't think I would marry that person. I don't know. I don't think I could marry that person.
But I do want to say something though. We had a young brother on a couple of days ago, and he said something real and kind of alludes to what you were saying. He said your purpose is your GPS.
Okay.
Your purpose is your GPS. Like, you knew that you enjoyed what you was doing. And I have a similar story. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my first sales job, I was working in loan origination. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. OG, I didn't know what I just know I'm good with this. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm good with that. We done sold it all. We good. So like at the end of the day, I go there, I go into corporate, I have to take the safe test. This is right after the 08 bubble crash. So I have to take the safe test. You fail it 3 times, you can't get your license for a year. So on the second try, I failed it 3 times by 2 points, OG. 3 times by 2 points. The shit like the yellow pages, thick book. I'm sitting there going hard. I'm highlighting. I'm going hard. I'm usually good at test taking. I failed the test. My whole company sitting there. I got brothers outside, like we in a parking lot crying, like, oh shit, man, you can't fuck. We the crew.
Right.
The CEO pulled me aside. Jay Levy, never forget him. Pulled me aside, put me in a room. He pulled up in a red Porsche. Put me aside in the room and said, yo, I was looking forward to this day. And you know what? I thought you would do it. And you know what it tells me? That your purpose is much higher. He said, I'm sitting there literally in tears. I'm like, yo, I'm like, what the fuck? I'll just let me do something in the office. I could be value. He's like, nah, I'm not even going to do that. It's bigger than this. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be different. You're going to be better. You're going to be smarter. Paid for a cab, $300 cab from Melville, New York and Long Island to the Bronx, New York. I'm in the cab fucking crying like, what the I'm going to do? Like that. I'm the Jordan on the Wizards, Jordan. My back hurt. My feet hurt. I'm the snap booger, the cab looking. There's no Uber. They called this shit. He calling dispatch on me. He calling dispatch on me. But what I was saying, that was the best thing that happened to me. Because like you said, it's the message in the movement. It's like, you know what you liked, right? And I knew I had a purpose. I knew I could sell. I knew I had creativity. And how do you merge the two? And then shortly after, 2 years after that, I'm the first employee at Cannes in the Bronx.
Right.
First employee at Cannes. I thought it was the movie. I tell you, I said it in the interview. That's why I got hired. I kept it real.
You thought it was the film festival.
I was like, shit, I love movies. You saw Heat? You saw Casino? Menace to Society, something? Kids got spunk.
Oh, yeah, get him up.
we laugh about it, like, and again, we can laugh about it now, but in the moment,
heartbreaking.
Being let go can devastate you.
Heartbreaking, bro.
It can devastate you, especially if, again, if you're not, two things. One, prepared for it. And two, have enough confidence to understand that you can pivot and do something else. Right?
Chad, I don't know that you can ever be prepared for it, but you can be.
That's real.
You can be, right? You can be ready. And when, well, I guess that's the same. I don't know that anybody is ever really, unless they're just hanging on because they know they got something else. Or if your head's down and you're working hard and you think most people think they're doing the best job, right? If you ask most people how you doing at your job, nobody's going to say, I think I'm average. I think everybody thinks they're doing the best. They're the best.
Different waters, Danny. Different waters. Hear me out. Now, let me tell you my experience, right? I got 20 years in construction. Motherfuckers know that they be hiding. They don't think that they're doing a good job. These motherfuckers know they clocking at 7. They be in the broom closet till about 11:30, come out for lunch. You only seen them twice a day. They know that they fucking should not be there. When
you fire them, don't they go, what?
Well,
you're firing me? They still think they should not lose their jobs.
So let me tell you prepared, right? So in my industry, right? In my industry of the construction thing, you get hired and fired so much.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Right. So the job might be 3 years, but it's already understood that you might be there 3 days, right?
Cool. Yeah,
so when I say being prepared for it, right? You get to a point, like I said, different ponds, you get to a point where you say, okay, I'm just going to go in and do the best that I can.
Yeah.
And if they lay me off, I know that a lot of the times it's not because of my work ethic. It's just political. See, New York is a right to work state, right? Hire and fire.
Virginia.
Right. So, like I end up being a senior manager. Let's say I have a bad day. Today, I had a bad day. Tomorrow I go in, Danny, I ain't even like the way you looked at me. Fired. Get him his check by lunchtime. You could have been the worker that never missed a day of overtime. Yeah. Never was late. They're not even going to question me. They're going to just get you your check and they're going to say, okay, replace him tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? So once again, bodies of water, right? Bodies of water.
Right.
So the first couple times, yes, it affected me as an apprentice coming up where I'm like, man, I did all the work. I did all the overtime. What did I do wrong? But once you understand the game, the politics behind it, you prepare yourself and go, listen, man, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do the best job that I can. But I understand that this is out of my hands. If they want me, they'll keep me. And if they don't, I just have to go on to the next job. So that's when I say about being prepared. Different in a different pond of water, right? You see, that's why I brought that up, because different ponds of water again, right? You think differently, but I'm not gonna lie. There was a couple times when I got laid off. We call it being laid off, right? When you get laid off, that you're very upset and you even want to fight. Like sometimes getting laid off causes an altercation.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, when you feel like you're giving your heart,
computer.
Yeah,
HR be at the computer.
I'm telling you.
Can't even show out.
Listen, when you feel like because Danny, so let's talk about what you said. A lot of people feel like they're doing a good job. A lot of people go to work essentially to really give their best effort to work. Before you're jaded, before you're, all the negative influences have changed you. You go to work like, I believe in the cause. I believe in the company. I'm going to do the best that I can for this company. So when you go in with that type of a mindset and then you get fired and you feel like, I never was late, right? I did all the overtime. I did extra work for free. Why me? Because Cuzzo tells this story a lot, right? Cuzzo has a story where he'll tell you all the time, I was the #1 worker. I brought in the most money. I did the best and I got fired first. So that's when you feel like,
Oh, yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
No, that's why we started our company.
See?
I got tired. I had the #1. I was just as not on some cockiness or nothing like that. I built a brand big enough on LinkedIn where I was equally as impactful as the brand I was working for. Yeah. I had more viewership. So where marketing is like, I'm just an account executive. Now, what does that look like? So that's a different conversation, but
that's a different situation.
How do you navigate that? Ain't no playbook.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you navigate that?
Ain't no playbook for that stuff, but you have to learn and you have to adapt. And you know what? You have to learn, grow. And I learned so much from that. And now we are entrepreneurs. And guess what? I control my destiny. That's the best thing. So like, well, I was going to ask you, you controlled your destiny. You had your agency, you got the plug. What is some of the great work you did there? And like, why ultimately did you either sell it or what happened with it?
Well, let's back up. I did not control my own destiny because I was still while we were given, my partner Mark Strachan and I were given the keys to the agency. It was still owned by Leo Burnett. We were still, in essence, paid employees. They could have fired us at any moment.
No, I'm talking about the first one though. The one you
started.
No,
I'm talking about the first one.
That's the first one. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. That wasn't ours.
Let me get this straight. So he offered you to start your own agency, but you didn't own the agency?
Correct. So what they said was we want you to do what we saw you do on this freelance job, and it was a job for Reebok. We think there's something here, and what we were selling was the idea that there was a culture, and this is, remember, 1998. There's a culture, and there are Black and brown people influencing what people around the world listen to, buy, eat, drink, and this was right when the internet was a thing. That we had influence on the world, and those people lived in major metropolitan cities, New York, Miami, Chicago, LA, Detroit. They were influencers, and mostly Black people. And hip hop was relatively new. MTV was relatively new. And we had this whole idea that there's this urban influence on the world that you could talk to a group of people, and what's happening now. I mean, the fight we had to have to get people to believe if you could use hip hop music in a track and a commercial, we're telling you it's going to matter. I mean, that was a year to trying to even get people to believe that hip hop wasn't a fad. That was I look now and I think, damn, nobody uses anything but the culture to sell things. And we couldn't even convince people that it was a real thing. So all that to say, they saw something in what we were doing and wanted to give us the ability to do it on our own terms. But we didn't own the agency. We didn't buy it. They bankrolled it. They paid us, paid us well. But it wasn't ours. But they let us run it the way we wanted to run it. They let us hire who we wanted to hire. They let us go after the clients we wanted to go after. So we had some really good success. We had Heineken as a client, and we did Jay-Z's first commercial for Heineken. Foxy Brown's first commercial, and we used Stuart Scott in this first commercial. We had Johnny Walker Black Label, and we would do tastings at the Playboy Mansion and invite Magic Johnson and John Sally and Tyrese, and we were finding influencers back then to sell some things. And did some of my best work back then.
Early iteration of influencer marketing. Early.
It was early. That's what we were telling. We were the ones that told Reebok, you need to hire. You can't compete with Nike and athletes. You need to hire, and they did after they fired Leo Burnett, and they did it. So you need to hire hip hop artists. You need to be a lifestyle brand, not an athletic brand. Because back then, I don't know if you guys remember, Reebok was a joke.
Allen Iverson, Jada Kiss.
Oh, no. Well, I don't know if it was a joke. I'm about to say that Allen Iverson's was crazy.
Shaq started it.
The Shaq pumps was crazy, bro.
No,
but in between that, when I'll find you some hip hop lyrics to let you know Reebok was a joke. In between that, I'm telling you, they clowned Reebok, man. I'm telling you.
Right.
We told them, you guys, they wanted to be Nike. I said, you guys don't have street credibility to be Nike. You can't compete. And we showed them we gave them this whole plan of how they could be the brand, the everyday brand, the streetwear brand, build it. We actually showed them here. We took them into a space in Harlem and said, you need to build a Reebok store that's the antithesis of the Nike store in Chicago, where it's in the hood, it's run by the people who live here. It's not just selling shoes, it's selling music. There's a barbershop in it. We showed them a plan. We had the urban renewal people from Harlem in the room. We did this whole, it was dope.
Right.
Showed them a G League for Reebok G League. That is, so you can still be in sports, but there are a whole group of people who are dope players who just can't make it to the NBA, and they are good, and you can have a G League that you can own. We showed them this whole plan. They didn't want to do it because they didn't understand it, right?
So how do you convince them?
We didn't convince them. This was the
lifestyle 5411s.
Eventually, they hired Birdman, and they hired. Eventually, they did the 50 shoe and the Birdman shoe. They did it,
Yeah.
but it was after they fired Leah Burnett,
right?
Because this is all the freelance we did. They said no. They fired Leah Burnett, and then they went away eventually and did all that stuff.
Yeah,
but it took a while because it took them a while to understand that the culture is a real thing, and sales follow, and people in Tokyo are doing what brothers in Harlem are doing, and wearing the hat backwards, and they didn't understand, and we couldn't convince them fast enough.
Listen to him, you learn something.
that was the work we did, and the president saw all that and said, "We don't do this.
Right.
We don't know how to do this, but we see that there's something here." So he asked us. He said, do you want to help us do this for some of our clients and then get your own clients? So that's how it started. That's how it
But I want to say something, and it was genius on their behalf. But again, just thinking about now that we understand business on your behalf, it was crazy because they said, do you want to start an agency? Meaning we will help you build and scale and own your own company, your own IP. Here's the key to this thing. But what they did was they planted the seed of ownership, but didn't give you ownership.
We did not.
Message.
And what is true is the question was asked.
Right.
And in our point in our career, what also was true was we'd have to take on the risk too.
Wow.
And we couldn't, I mean, right. They're not just going to give us an agency. We had an opportunity. We didn't have any money.
Right.
We didn't know then how to raise money to own part of this. We thought, what an opportunity to I mean, they paid us well, considering what we were making and what they made. Certainly not as much as if we had been owners. But in our minds, it was, well, who's going to offer, where are we going to get this opportunity again to make this kind of money, to do this kind of thing on our own? Because they did leave us alone other than wanting their cut. They let us go after the clients who want to do the kind of work we did. If we had known better, if we had been smarter, if we had seen this before, we would have made, I think, different decisions.
I know you're going to say the same shit we about to say. I know you're about to say.
Look, they're going to say it's scripted. Go ahead. They're going to say it's scripted. Go ahead.
That is the exact situation that we are in today.
They're going to say it's
media
scripted.
Content creators, as Black agents, we're agency owners. So the story I just told you, the reason why we came and started our own agency, because I'm generating $3 million for you.
See?
If I'm generating $3 for you, what I can do with me and my brother, and we're gonna do it. But then guess what? You learn things that you didn't even see. There was blind spots. There's this, that, things that you weren't good at, knowing what's going on, how to conduct a team, how to make those proposals, how to do that and create it. Like it's a lot of shit to it, right?
But the beginning to you also, Cuzzo, because they're gonna say it's scripted, is when you left the agency that you left, the reason that you had to rebrand the podcast, even though you created that, was what? What was the reason?
I didn't own the IP.
You didn't own the IP.
I didn't own the IP. So I'm building a brand that I don't own. And once again, I don't have funding.
Right.
So how do we get funding? And Black businesses get what? 1% if you're male, maybe.
Right.
0.5 if you're female.
Right.
If you're a woman of color. So we don't get the funding. We just had this conversation with Detavio.
Right.
So how are we doing? We're the best mixtape that nobody's ever seen. We're going door to door.
But now let's go education. Let's add education into that. Had you known better, Danny, you could have said, okay, let's do this. I make this now. You want to pay me this. Let's split the difference. I'll take half of what you want to pay me and take the other half and invest me into the company as part owner. Let me buy equity stakes. Let me, you see what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
You understand? Like, it could have been a whole different conversation.
All this conversation about the pond I was in, I still couldn't see clearly enough in that pond to know to do that.
Right.
Come on. So, that's what?
Right.
So even my advantage, I had blind spots.
Yeah.
We all do. We all do.
Yes.
We all do.
That's why this is I don't regret it. I don't look back and say I wish I had.
No.
There's some things I do wish I had done that had nothing to do with that. But I do have conversations with people about that today.
Right.
So at least some people can make some different decisions and know more than I knew. And I was working with Keith Clinkscales, who was the Vibe magazine.
Yes, I was about to say I know his name.
He was the one who called me, and he was the one who helped orchestrate this. And I don't know for a fact, and I like Keith. I'm sure he got a cut putting a deal together because he's a businessman.
Right.
Right. He ran a business. He understood how it worked. And we weren't close enough for him to maybe pull me aside and say, hey, you might want to think about it this way. And that's cool. What I will say is I got here where I am today, and that was part of the journey. So that's all right. You know, it didn't slow me down. It certainly accelerated my career. Right. But there were some lessons to be learned, right?
So what would you tell us, Unc, as your nephews? What is something we should look at?
What do you mean?
Just like it's from business, like the blind spots, right? Like you know what I'm saying? Like what's the biggest lesson you learned from that particular instance? Now I want to talk about the wins and stuff. Like what's
I will say here's one thing I will tell everybody. And somebody said this to me. A lawyer and a contract. They said you don't make a contract for the day you start. You make a contract for the day you leave.
Message.
Want a contract that looks at what happens when it's your last day at some place, and what does it say when you're walking out? Because that's where all the money's made. That's where the compensation happens. So if you're looking at a contract, think about, all right, if this ever ends, what am I getting when I'm walking out? So don't worry about what it says about why you're there. Whatever. Look at that contract and think, all right, this is my last day here. If I look at this contract, what does that mean I'm walking out with? And somebody told me that after this whole vigilante thing. I said, okay, from now on, any lawyer I talk to, any contract I have, I'm going to look at what's the end game for me, and pad it, because you also have the ability to. They're not thinking about the end, to put as much as you can in the back end, because for them that's later, right? Right, they're concerned about what the contract says about working and now and today, and they sometimes care less and pay less attention. What does it mean on the way out? But that's the part of the contract you need to look at. What does it mean on my way out? Because that's when I get my pie.
You're the second person that said that to us. The first person I believe was Walt, right, Cuzzo?
Yeah, Walter Gear from Blackweed.
Yeah, we had him on the show, and it was the first time that I have ever heard. This is the second time I've heard it. That was the first time I've ever heard it, where Walt was saying, "Yo, you need to put in your contract your severance package and how you walk," and said the exact same thing. Now, mind you, I'm hearing this. I'm already in my career. I'm already well into my career. Most people, I want to say 85, 90% will have never even thought about a severance package in a contract, because you're so focused on
getting in the door,
the front end, getting in the door.
Yeah.
So it's
one day it's going to end.
Yeah.
One day it's going to end.
Yeah.
And on that day, you want to get as much as you can, and that's the thing to fight for too. I mean, if you're going to fight on terms in a contract, let go of some stuff and fight for the back end, fight for the exit. Because, I mean, if that's your last day, you're going to want as much money as you can get on the way out, because that's going to have to last you for whatever the next thing is.
But we have this conversation a lot too, and I want to segue this into the Oprah stuff, right? So you did the car giveaway. I want to know how that happened, but also as a creative, how do you negotiate the business of that? That is something that everybody knows. Just like we had Mary Webb, she was the creator of Flow from Progressive.
Yeah.
Had a crazy conversation. You're working with Arnold, right? It's a 30-year legacy ad. And she's not getting no residuals. I don't understand that as a creative. So it's like, I would love to hear your take on that. Like, how did you do that? Specifically for the Oprah. How did you come up with that? What was the metrics of success? And what do you think creators should get when you build something like that?
Well, you don't own any of it if you're working for somebody. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Message.
The guy at 3M who invented Post-it notes didn't get any Post-it note money. He's employed, and whatever IP, property, idea you make is the employees. And frankly, in our business, it's a client's idea. It's not even the agency's idea. So get out of your head that any idea you come up with, you're going to own anything unless
you own
unless it's your own company, you make some kind of deal with the client, including anything we come up with. Now we talk about this. We've been talking about this recently, at least as an agency, not as individuals. But if we had decided we were going to own the GEICO and make a deal and own the IP and get paid differently, a different model than agency's model, as an agency, we'd be really happy right now. The individual wouldn't get anything, but the agency would have benefited if we had said, all right, we're gonna structure this deal differently. We're not just gonna work like we usually do. Let's talk about owning some IP, and then so still, the person at this agency who came up with it wouldn't get nothing. The person who side story, the person, if you remember the caveman for GEICO.
Yeah. Oh, classic.
The team that came up with that, one of them left to work on the TV show. I don't know if you ever knew there was a TV show with the caveman, because it was only
No.
ABC had a TV show with the caveman for.
Yeah, it was like one season. I do remember.
I don't even know it was a season.
Really? What was
I do remember. It was a short film. Short.
I don't know. Maybe called Caveman.
Yeah, it was something like that.
I gotta check that out.
It wasn't. I don't even think it was a season.
Right.
But it was a network show. He went off and wrote for that show.
Mm-hmm.
It failed because he went on. When you go to work for a show and you're new, even if you're the creator, you're down here as a writer. There are a bunch of writers. So it didn't last because it wasn't what he created. But all that to say, that's the only way you'd have to make deals like that. The only way you're going to benefit from an idea that you have, it's got to leave that place and become something else. So Oprah quickly, because I've told the story too many times. I have.
That's us, OG.
I've told the story too many times, man.
I know, but we need our IP.
Wait. So next time, Danny. So this is the last time. So the next time somebody asks you to tell the Oprah story, your response.
Hell no. No.
That's what you say. This is the last time.
This is the absolute last time.
And I start by telling people I did not come up with the idea. I was a co-owner, a co-founder of the agency that created that idea. The media company had a lot to do with that idea. So did the client, and so did Oprah. But my second partner at the time, was the one who actually got the thing to happen. And he always told the story, and I believed him kind of. But there was an idea that General Motors was going to spend their entire budget launching this Pontiac G6 by giving cars away. That was the idea. And the client was like, we're just going to swing big. Now, the who should do it, where, how, that was a combination of my partners thinking, the media companies thinking that Oprah has this favorite things show, and she gives away things. And Oprah is the biggest star on the planet, or at least the biggest influencer at the time on the planet. Let's go to her and have her do it. Now, the problem was they couldn't get to Oprah, but my partner ran into Gail at an airport. And yes, that's what happened. And he always told me this, and I questioned it. But then I just saw a special, and Gail told the story. So that's okay, it really happened. He went up to her, and she actually used his name. She acted like it wasn't his name, but I think she actually said his name. She was pretending like it was an alias. He went up to her and said, we have this idea and we can't get to Oprah. Can you ask her? So Gail asked Oprah, and Oprah thought it was the best thing she'd ever heard. And it from there, it just took off. So again, luck, timing.
Right place, right time.
I
would have did anything, it wouldn't have happened.
I want to say two things to that. I want to say two things to that. Number one, whoever at GM was gonna throw your whole budget behind the Pontiac G6, thank God you didn't, because that car lasted like 2 seasons.
Well, not a good car.
Worst creations Pontiac ever.
Not a good car.
You should have kept the Trans Am and just kept running with the Trans Am.
First of all, you're gone too far.
We got to pay some bills. We'll be right back.
I'm driving in that shit right now.
Listen, I'm telling you right now.
I'm driving that shit right now.
I have a unique perspective because I owned the Pontiac, because I had a Trans Am.
It might be shitty, but
I can talk about it.
That
was trashed.
You see what we do?
It was like driving a Neon.
Oh, man.
I'm driving Hugo in this motherfucker.
I'm driving Hugo.
But wait, secondly, what I was gonna say to you, and Cuzzo, I think you're gonna agree to this, Danny. Here's the problem: we keep talking about creators. Me and Cuzzo been in music and stuff for 20 years plus. We're artists ourselves and things of that nature. The problem is you never know which one is the one that's gonna go.
Right.
So the problem is, let's say you create the GEICO lizard, but it doesn't go. Do you save that for yourself? And then you create flow. Do you save that for yourself? So if you think everything is the one, you never give an idea to your client. Because you're saving all the ones for yourself. So
and you never know.
Right. So that's the problem, right? You never know how the public is gonna react to an idea until I'm not gonna lie. When I first seen the Budweiser frogs, I thought it was the funniest shit that was ever created. The Budweiser frogs. You understand? But who would think that 3 frogs saying Budweiser, like that would go like that?
It's culture.
But it ended up being culture. So that's the problem when you're a creative, is you love the idea. You become so attached to it because it's your baby. But when you're working for somebody, you have to turn over something and you don't know what it's gonna become. It's
always be incentivized for the creativity. That's all I say. You should be incentivized for it. If I come up with the hottest verse ever, I should be incentivized for it in some way. I came up with the frogs,
right?
The lizard flow.
Wait, Jarrett.
Talk to me.
What about the other? What about the reverse?
Okay.
Talk to me.
Are you responsible for the bomb?
For the flop? Yeah.
Do I take away from it if you fail? Because the only way that works is that you go do your own thing. Your incentive is to always do well. If you do well, you succeed. If you don't, you don't. It's just hard. You run an agency with 300 people.
Right.
Who's actually responsible for how good an idea is? Who came up with it?
The team.
Yeah.
Producers, how much influence do they have? The director, would it have been better if you gotten a different director? It's hard to pinpoint creativity who unless you're an artist, for example. Although who's on the mixer, and who's the producer, and who's the arranger? Even an artist, who's responsible for the success?
Can I just say something? Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
You know, the young lady, I forgot her name. I literally just connected with her. I'm sorry for forgetting your name, Mama. She created the Spotify wrap-up as a 19-year-old intern.
Brilliant.
Spotify wrap-up as a 19-year-old intern. You know she's not in marketing right now? I just got my LinkedIn review, my Instagram review, my YouTube review, my TikTok review.
It's terrible, by the way. Everything.
Are you shitting me? And
terrible.
She's not even in marketing. So that's the problem I have, is that it's the young person like that that had the illest idea ever to change how we view something, and you got squeezed out. Yeah. That is not right. I don't care on any level.
I agree. So yeah, well, I hear you, man. I do.
It's just frustrating to see us. Like I literally just connected with her. She got 5,000 followers. I'm like, what? You dope.
Well, that's why some people start their own companies.
So I got a question.
Going through that shit. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about starting your own company now. Let's talk about the experience that you've now translated over and the mistakes that you've made prior to. Now moving forward now, how do you structure your deals now? If you're working as a creative agency for a person to create these ideas, do you now put that in the paperwork and say, hey, what is your KPIs? What's your metrics on judging the success of this thing? If this thing matches that, we're fine. But if this thing 2X's or 3X's your expectations, is there some type of ownership or bonus equity that kicks back? Can you talk to us about how you're structuring
as an individual creative or as an agency?
No, as an agency. Are you doing that now?
So yeah. So as an agency, smart agencies, and it's hard to do when you're part of a holding company because you have to have people who are okay with you thinking differently about how you get compensated. And I think in this situation, we might actually have a leader of this new group who is interested in different compensation models. I'll use an example without giving the specifics.
Appreciate that.
So they had a client, this isn't real, but the example is they had a client who sell candy bars. No, that's not even good enough. They have a client that sells, I got to think. All right, let's say candy bars. And it's Halloween. He had a client sell candy bars. He said, for the month of October, so, coming up to Halloween, month of October, we want to get paid for the number of candy bars we sell. We're going to change the compensation model, right? We only want to get paid on candy bar sales. When we used to just get paid by the work we do, and here's a fee and you pay us for the fees, we're going to waive all that. We're going to go one metric. If you sell 1 million candy bars, we're going to get 10%. We're going to get 50%. If you don't, and maybe if there's a threshold, there's a minimum. If you don't pay us. Because he believed strongly enough in the idea that they're going to create, that he was going to make his money.
Okay, I can feel that.
Being able to think, and that you have to do that within the construct of corporations that typically have the same model. We are starting to be given the opportunity to be creative on how we get paid. So yeah, as opposed to here's the scope, here's the fee, pay us no matter what happens. If you bet on yourself, and I tend to bet on the jockey, not the horse. If you bet on yourself and you believe your idea is going to be good enough, you might say the compensation model is going to change. The client thinks, all right, there's a risk, there's a possibility I don't have to pay anything. The possibility I might have to pay twice as much as I would pay, but I'm willing to take that risk. So you come in a different kind of agreement. I'm interested in those kind of deals.
And you're right. And there's also, now that you said that, the flip side, if I'm GEICO, I want a piece of that. I don't care if you made the lizard. So now the business model changes and it goes down the line. Like this is the first time, if I sell the GEICO lizard, if I sell GEICO, you create the lizard, and now it's a 30-year relationship. I should get to take that business out. And as the marketing person, now the business model becomes gray area.
Yeah. Well, you can start to think differently about how you get paid. And if you believe in yourself, if you believe, well, my work's going to be dope. And you always believe that. And my work's going to sell. My work's going to work. You bet on yourself. Risk reward. You could be right, and you'd be happy. You could be wrong, and you're gonna have to make up the money you didn't make. But if you believe in yourself and in the work and the people who are working for you, thinking about different deal structures is not a bad idea, including owning IP.
I think the key to that also has to be where you are professionally. Now, as a young company, if you haven't accomplished anything, and this is your biggest client to date, and you haven't dealt with a client of this magnitude, then making that kind of demand is kind of asinine, right? They're gonna look at you like, what have you done to even ask that? But if you are Michael Jordan and Michael Jordan's mom goes, well, those are just Nikes until my son steps into them. Then there's a different thing because, oh, I already know who my son is. I already know who my agency is. We've already done this. This is the reason you're coming to us. See, we didn't come to you. You came to us. And then that's another thing, right?
The leverage.
Who approaches who? Who approaches
the leverage
who?
And who approaches who?
Right? So now if you now are a seasoned company who has now won awards or, you know, done some major things, then I think then is the point that you can start asking. And you don't have to, you know, go for the house on the first deal, but I think small increments to get these companies used to the change, and then gradually we can see a full-scale change happen. You understand? But I think
let me give you a counter to that.
Okay.
Talk about it.
If you're a brand new agency, and you're competing with two other agencies, and those other agencies come with this regular deal structure, and it's $3 million, right? $3 million account, and a startup says, here's a different idea. You only pay me if you sell X.
Okay.
I'm not going to compete with those other two. But you're right. You can't be an unproven entity, right? Because nobody's gonna.
Right.
I don't care if it's free. I don't know you, so
right.
That's not going to work.
That's on a major campaign, right?
Correct.
$3 million. That's a drop in the bucket.
But if you have enough to show, enough for that they believe, all right, they could do the job, but they're coming to me with a different deal structure. And you're right; it depends on where you are in the life cycle of your company. But coming with a different deal structure to a client that might think, all right, they could do it. Maybe this is a more interesting deal because there's a possibility that I will never have to pay $3 million.
It's the reward.
I might only have to pay $1 million.
Yeah.
To me, it's just an interesting proposition. You're right. Depending on where that agency is, who the client is, the size of the client, all of that. But my overall thinking is it's going to be more and more important that people start thinking about different ways to get paid. Because it's going to get harder and harder to get paid traditionally.
Message.
It's going to be harder to clients are squeezing. I mean, they are squeezing. And if you can find a way that, at least on paper, it looks like they're making out, and in the end, turns out you make out. I think people are going to have to start getting creative.
We got to start getting creative. There's a lot of messaging. There's a lot of messages in what he just said. It was a lot of unpacked. But
it's here, right?
There it goes.
We are moving. We have to move from a state of right now to future generations. See, that's the key. That's the key right there. That's the cheat code. Yeah. If you're worried about how much am I making, what am I going to do? What am I right now? And you get fired, you have no exit. When we talk about exit strategy, there is no exit. But now, if the deal is structured where no matter if I'm here 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, I will get residuals. That is now, I can go get another job, but that is now a revenue stream, not only for me, that I can pass down to my family for as long as this thing lives, right? Yeah,
right.
Generational wealth building. See, it's a mindset shift in general.
Let's give them the real. Can we give them the real, and Cuzzo, let's give them the real.
Talk to them.
What kind of day we've had today? What kind of sacrifice what did I tell you before we got on the live? The 99% won't deal with what we have to deal with being entrepreneurs, bro. Trying to get funding, trying to get sponsorship, doing it our way, doing it the right way, not asking relationship, not asking no crazy. We know, you know who we've had on that we haven't done that. We haven't done that. We had Matthew knows on. We didn't ask a Beyonce question.
Yeah,
that's the type of real shit. We want to know who you are. I'm a father, man. I want to know how do I get my kid like that? What's the mindset? What the fuck was you drinking? Was you eating? I need to know the sauce. And this is the culture. And Linwood Bibbett said this shit to us. He's the CEO of Reach TV. If you don't know him, we need to plug you, man. All the TVs in every airport. If you go to any airport, you're watching his network. And he told us some real shit. He came on. He's like, yo, your shit is the Bible. We have 285 guests. Come on.
Yeah.
Like yourself, you are going through an acquisition right now. You do not have to be with us at 4 p.m. Eastern. We don't take that shit lightly.
Right.
We don't take that shit lightly, man. So I want to give you your flowers, but I also want to say to us too, man, it's hard.
Yeah,
so what we're saying, not everybody's going to do, man, because we're doing this shit right now. We're like this. The water's right here.
Man,
the
look,
water on the lip.
By the way,
that's real.
It's higher right now over here. And I remind people when they talk about, they say you're the CEO. I say, do you know I have a boss?
Come on.
I don't own
board members.
I don't own this place. I don't own this place.
Stakeholders. Hello.
This is not my company. It doesn't get easier.
No, notice how we started off the show with the G&T and the grateful and thankful on the support system, Danny.
Yeah. Oh yes.
So we like transparency. Today I was in a great mood to about 20 minutes or 30 minutes before the show. When I say it was in a phenomenal, I mean my energy, my spirit, I mean I was on cloud 9 till about 30 minutes before the show. And then when I say everything went left, everything went left. And I had Cuzzo call me and I had to talk to a couple people to, you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yes, I do.
Because
I've had that every day this week.
And you know what I did? You know what I did? I made a video testimonial. I told Cuzzo, I said, I'm going to start doing this every time we go through something. I'm going to make a video testimonial of what we're going through because this shit has to be documented.
Yeah.
Because when people think that this entrepreneurial life, oh, you're the boss, oh, Chadeo, you the CEO, what the fuck does that mean, bro? I work more hours. Me and Cuzzo, we don't have set hours. We work 80 hours, 90 hours, birthdays, holidays. We always.
I'm going on 48 hours. I didn't sleep.
Right. We get paid last. We pay the company first.
Right.
We worked for almost 2 years and didn't take out a dime. What are you talking about? Like, you understand? Like, so just because we have titles and we're founders,
it's almost Kwanzaa the shit.
Right. Yeah. You know, it doesn't mean that it makes it any easier. But what I will say is the journey, like your story, it needs to be told. Why does it need to be told, Danny? Because not too many people come from the pond and that body of water that you come from.
Message.
Majority of our culture comes from the ponds that we come from. They need to hear this story. They need to hear it through your lens, the way you want to tell it, so that they can look at you and relate to you and say, I can believe him because he looks like me, sounds like me. I've been through something similar. The problem is we don't have enough of these stories. So the negative aspect of everything that we're going through as Black and brown people drowns out positivity like this. But the gems that you've dropped in just this episode, that's why I said phenomenal, because we need to hear things like that, because you taught me something and you reiterated a lot of things that we knew that we have to start paying attention to, especially the exit strategy. How many people get jobs and don't do exit strategy? So this is why they need this platform. This is why your story is important, because it is teaching us lessons that you have learned, that you're saying, listen, I learned this. So now listen to me so that you don't make this mistake and you can, get a faster track to your success. That's the cheat code. Not making the same mistakes over and over and over because of a lack of knowledge.
Yeah, not necessary.
Yeah.
Don't need to make those mistakes.
Yeah.
Need to. And before we end up, I know, we know we're going to, this is how you know, this is what I want to tell you. This is how we do 2-3 hour pods. Yeah, and there's an hour 13. You feel like we just getting hot right now. We just getting into
there's a lot left to say.
Yeah, but I do want to ask you though, like you said, as a leader, we talked about this off camera. As a leader, you being a CEO of a conglomerate, things of that nature, like how do you balance the growth of your personal success versus the growth of the culture, right? Like does that hinder you? What are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you balance both of bringing a ladder down, but also looking out for you?
I think at this point I've decided I'm going to be all right.
That's real.
That I remember at an award show, my speech I ended with the Jada kiss. We gonna make it, because I believed it at the time. And then I said, if I did this again, we're gonna be all right, would be just the parallel answer, the end to the speech. I think I'm gonna be all right. I mean, for me now, pushing the ladder down is all I got, all I have left to do. I don't need to win any awards. I don't need to be on stage. I never actually liked any of that. I just did it because I needed to for this company, and I have responsibility. All that's left for me is to help people, just like you said, not make mistakes, find their way, be real, and make sure they know what this business is, because not everybody should be in it. My mantra is, people say, follow your passion and the money, pursue your passion, money will follow. And I say, I don't believe it, because just because you're passionate doesn't mean you're good. And I think I think success comes when you follow something you're really good at, because you get positive reinforcement from that thing, and that makes you feel better, and then you feel more confident, and you go back at it. And I think I'm passionate about a lot of things I could never make a living at.
Message.
Ooh, you got the back to back on that one. My bad,
Give a second. And the only reason you beat me is because I wanted to let him finish.
Quickest go on this side of the Mississippi. Let him know.
Dude, I would love to be a singer. I'm passionate about music, but I'm not cutting an album.
Yeah.
But I found in my career, in my life, actually, when I was good at something and pursued that, there's a cycle of positivity that keeps you going, and you're good, and you get people say you're good, and you believe it, and you are confident, and then people pay you to be good. And I think people have to find the thing. I'm passionate about things that I do on the side. It's not going to earn me a living, right? That's cool. Follow your passion, make a living at what you're good at.
Okay. Can I offer a different perspective?
Of course you can. It's your show.
No, again,
I'm kidding.
Because I'm a creative as well, right? I draw.
Yep.
I draw. Yep. I don't paint, but I draw. I spent a lot of time on punishment. As a child,
Me too, because I drew in every class. Right. I understand.
So when I was on punishment, my uncle and them used to be avid comic book collectors.
Yeah.
So punishment used to bother me until I learned how to free my mind. So I'd be on punishment. I'd be like, no problem. I fucking draw X-Men comic 12 through 35.
Yes,
and I
sir.
got really good at drawing, right?
Yes, sir.
But it's saying that, right? I've done music. I write music. I'm in my studio now. I engineer music. I do that. But I didn't start off anywhere near where I am now. The way that I got better was by my passion for it, right? I learned it, the basics, and instead of now paying for studio time and doing all these other things, I invested in my own equipment and I taught myself how to do it. So I understand what you say, do what you're good at, but I just want to say I've gotten a lot better, and I've seen people get to the next level that wasn't very good in the beginning, but they consistently worked at their craft enough so that they became good at it. So that's what
is what we preach. We are the living proof of that. Our first episode was trash.
I will argue that you're passionate about it because you're good at it, not the other way around. That's my argument.
Okay.
I think passion comes after the success of something you're good at, not the other way around.
Okay. It's a good debate.
Nothing I say is going to be true all the time for everybody.
No. Listen, it's a good debate. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah. I think the passion comes. I think the passion comes second.
Okay. So now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
We've talked about a lot, but we have to touch this topic because of what we went through today, and I need your perspective on this.
All right.
Going through everything that you've gone through, we've talked about you being successful. We've talked about the things that you've done. What we haven't talked about is, what is Danny Robinson doing to take care of himself while doing all of these things? What are you doing to take care of yourself mentally, spiritually, physically? Because a lot of times we talk to C-suite individuals, and because they're so involved in their work, they don't take the time to take care of their personal health and spirituality and mental state. So what is Danny Robinson doing to take care of his mental state and his personal health?
My superpower is the ability to compartmentalize.
Okay.
Right. When I get in my car and drive home, for the most part, I block out what I left behind, for the most part, until somebody texts me or calls me.
Okay.
That's helped me throughout my career. Be able to say that work is work, home is home. Life is not work. Also, I tell you, I paint 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock, Saturday and Sunday. I'm in my studio painting, so that I'm just I'm doing what I want, when I want, how I want. I tell people that's my idea of retirement is the freedom for other people's opinions. So painting allows me to do what I want to do. Nobody tells me whether the painting is good or not. I decide that. Nobody tells me when to paint. Nobody says what colors to use. Nobody says what size it should be, what the subject should be. That's all me. That takes care of the part of me, the creative part of me that I lost when I became CEO, right? I started as a creative. Nobody gets into this business to manage people. That's it. No, very few art directors dream one day of handling other people's problems. They think about making things all the time.
Message.
My painting takes care of my need to be creative. And then I music, podcasts, streaming shows, football, grandson, wife. I find ways to make all that priorities, frankly. So there are days where I feel like and I don't talk to my wife about work either at all, ever. She barely knows who I work with. I've always separated. I don't bring that home. I rarely talk about it. If something good happens, and maybe I will, and something really bad happens, maybe I will. But
I'm about to say, you go home. I got the lizard, baby. I got GEICO. You go home. I want a steak tonight. Stop playing.
we just that's a whole. I leave that behind.
And if she's watching, Mrs. Robinson, don't take offense.
Her name's hyphenated. Don't get
okay. I'm sorry. What is it?
You to be on the
Taylor Robinson.
Okay, Mrs. Taylor Robinson. See, and this is why we got to say it, right? Don't take offense that he put you behind football. Because I know I watched this interview, football before the wife.
I married the wife. I married the woman for me. She knows that I'm gone August to February. I'm gone. She schedules around me. She doesn't do anything Thursday night. She doesn't do anything Monday night. Sunday, she will tell people we can't come because it's Sunday. So she's well aware.
I love it.
She is perfect, man.
I love it.
I do want to say before we end it off, thank you for pulling up on a Thursday night. It's before the game.
Right before the game. See, clearly, right.
You share me? It's before the game. But I do want to say, like real talk, and I'm gonna call you because I feel like I respect you enough. Everything that you've done, man. Like meeting you at Cannes was something that was real. Next day, I was like, don't Varnell Hill me, Unc. I was like, how we joking around and all that. But I want to just say, man, meeting you was an honor, man. I followed your career for a long time, and this is a reason why we created the show, to talk to brothers like you, man. This shit mean a lot. And when I seen you in Cannes, this is the reason why I'm wearing this shirt today. I'm gonna shout out to my auntie. The day I left for Cannes was supposed to be the best day of our life, the best day of all the work, 285 episodes, man. My auntie passed away. And I saw you 3 days afterwards. And you'd have never known. I had to put in the work, man. I had to see you. I saw you, man. It was just, yo, what's up? And I just want the listeners to understand that movement is powerful. It's hard doing what we do, building the relationships, being genuine, not doing no craziness. You know what I mean? It was respect. It was love, man. It was genuine. And I want to say I'm proud of you, brother. I was in Cannes. I saw what Martin Agency was doing in 2011, 2012. I saw the shit. I took notes. You know what I mean? And I see what you're doing, brother. I see that you went to Unc's episode. You went to Lewis Williams. That's our other Unc. You went to OGs and Aunties. I see what we're doing. I see what you do with the creative ladder. I see all that shit. And I want to give you your flowers, brother, and thank you. You got the agency looking right now, watching, and you are what a leader's supposed to be, brother. So I'm going to give you your flowers today on More Than Entitled. And I want to say thank you. I would love to have a part two because it's mad shit that we didn't go to, but I would love to create an experience that's curated to you guys. Like I would love, let's come down there. We got the equipment. Let's come down. Let's do a day in our life. Let's do something creative that our culture needs.
All right, man.
We'd love to do that. Let's do that. And we just want to say we rock with you, Unc. And, we're going to text you. We're going to hit you happy holidays and all. We're going to send you merch. We're going to send you the merch and all that. You're More Than Entitled chalice. You need one.
Chalice.
Oh, yeah.
You need a chalice.
That's true.
You got to have a chalice.
You need a
chalice. I got a plastic cup.
No, you still no.
You didn't send it to me. What am I supposed to do?
This is chalice, Kelly.
Did you send me a chalice?
We gonna
Danny.
Okay, I'm just explaining why I got this.
Well, put it in a chalice. You should.
I'm just saying. You pick up the plastic cup, it's like
Biggs, you gone too far now, man.
You're gone too far, Biggs.
too far. But listen, before we leave, Danny, please, mandatory, please let the listeners know where they can get in contact with you if they want to connect to you, where they can get in contact with your agency and find out more things that you guys are doing. Because, you know, like Cuzzo said, you guys are doing phenomenal things and we have to spread the word.
Well, find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
It'll take me a while because I get a lot.
Okay.
Just Danny Robinson, you'll find me, Martin Agency. And the agency, I don't know how you find the agency. You just look up the agency. But if you we're in the phone book. I don't know where it's easy to find us. But if you want to connect with me, go to LinkedIn. If you want to see my art, because I'm close to making that a career, so I'm going to start promoting that. Instagram handle art36. That's ART, the number 30, SIX.
There you go.
All right.
I like it. And so like we like to do with all our guests before we end the show, Danny, we like to officially welcome you to the More Than a Title family.
Thank you, gentlemen.
So two things that we take pride. We take absolute pride in this. Two things that come with that primarily. Number one, like Cuzzo said, we've had over 280 something guests on this show. Because we don't gatekeep, and this is one of the ways that we like to give back to our community and our guests, is give you access to the network that we have built. So you now have access to every single guest that has been before you and future guests that possibly might come on after you, right? It doesn't matter if you're in the same scope of work or anything like that. If you watch an episode or you see somebody that's interested, say, hey, I would love to connect with somebody. It's very simple. After this, we normally start a 3-way group chat between us and the guests.
Okay.
You'll hit us up and say, hey guys, I would like to meet so-and-so. We'll check their schedule, check your schedule. We put you guys on a Zoom call. A, this is B, this is A, and we actually get off the call. That's it. And what you guys do, you guys do. Now, we have done that successfully dozens of times, and major deals have actually come from that. And we actually don't ask for not even one red cent. We haven't gotten paid for any time we've done that. And that's part of our way of giving back. That's number one.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Number two, if you're ever in New York, right? If you come down to New York, right? You come down to New York, and you might want a chopped cheese, or you
might want to watch the game.
We just watch the game, right? We got a lot of pubs in New York. You might say, hey guys, man, let's watch the game together or something. We always like to link up with our guests in real time and things of that nature. Or if you having an event, like you see us, we're at cans and things. We always at a lot of events. If you're having an event and we could come through, or you want us to show up in any capacity, let us know and we'll check the schedule. We love to celebrate and support our guests. So please take us up on those two offers, and that's our way of giving back. So once again, welcome to the More Than a Title family. Right? And
number three,
we got number three.
Yeah, chalice.
Oh, the chalice.
The chalice.
So you get a chalice.
And a sweatshirt. You're gonna get a bet on yourself. You need the bet on yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. You're gonna get the bet on yourself and a chalice with your name on it. No problem. And that's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, see, this is why I lead with the word phenomenal. This is why I lead with the word phenomenal, because we're batting 1,000. We're batting over 1,000 at this point. Once again, we had a guest come on and be vulnerable. Told you about the upbringing, because the upbringing is very important in shaping the childhood into the adulthood and the decisions that we make. Told you that he is a product of his upbringing and what his success looked like for him at a very young age, right? But he also told you that he took risks and he attempted to do different things in different areas, including starting an agency, right? And guess what? Sometimes it worked out and sometimes it didn't, but he learned from it and he kept going and he kept working on it. He also kept making a point to say, listen, do something that you're good at, right? Not something that you love and you're not necessarily good at, because at that point you will pretty much increase your chances of success. Now, that was a political way of just saying, if you're garbage, don't do the job. If you're garbage, you know you're garbage. So don't spit bars if you know you're garbage. You know what I'm saying? Hey. If you're garbage, you're garbage.
A lot of brothers are passionate about basketball.
Right.
Doesn't mean you're gonna make it.
But also, once again, he gave us information on what he likes to do to compartmentalize being a boss, running an agency, being a husband, right? Being a friend, being an artist. Once again, what's the name of the show? More Than the Title, right? He showcased and he said, bet on yourself more than once. It's not scripted. You know, this is unscripted, but he kept reiterating, bet on yourself, right? Because that's the goal here. Ladies and gentlemen, develop something that you're good at. Put the work in, put the work in, put the work in to develop it, become good at it, and the success will come and follow, which reiterates what we say to end off the show every single time. The dream is free, but the hustle, well, that's sold separately. Listen, we coming back tomorrow for our third day of the week podcast.
112.
You already know what it is. Yeah, so you already know what kind of episode that's gonna be. It's More Than the Title, number 3, 185 episodes plus this year. Y'all can't fuck with us. You know what it is.
About me, seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I done it all, just want it all. Oh, what you know about me? I seen it all, heard